Good morning, guys. How are you guys doing? Good. Okay. So today we will talk about quadratic equation. Okay. So you guys know about the quadratic equation. Ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. Is that right? So how do you solve quadratic equation? So let's say, so this is the ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, where a is not equal to 0, right? And a, b, and c are real numbers. So this is a quadratic equation. Okay? Did you see that? If you have any equation that can be written in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, where a, b, and c are real numbers, and a is not equal to 0, right? And you see, a is not equal to 0 because if a is 0, what will happen? If you plug in a equal to 0 here, you'll have a bx plus c equal to 0. So this is no more quadratic, right? This is linear. Is that right? So that's why we have a restriction, a is not equal to 0. Did you get it? Yes? You see the quadratic equation, right? Okay, so now, so this is the standard form. So this is the standard form of the quadratic equation. Okay, guys? So now if you want to solve the quadratic equation, so these are the examples. See that? So these are the examples of quadratic equation. Okay? And then if you want to, so you see in all these equations, you'll have a squared variable term, and you do not have any terms of degree greater than 2, right? You see every term has squared variable and no terms of greater degree. So what you need to know is, if you have a quadratic equation, so quadratic equation is degree 2 equation. And if you look here, this is called the zero factor property. So if you have a product of two numbers or whatever, like if you have a and b are two complex number and this equal to 0, this is true if and only if a equal to 0 or b equal to 0 or both equal 0. Okay? Or both equal 0. Make sense? Okay. So that means now if I plug in a equal to 0, so if I plug in a equal to 0, so this will be 0 times b equal to 0, right? So what is 0 times b? The 0 times b is 0 equal to 0, which is true. Make sense? Now if I plug in b equal to 0, so that will be a times 0 equal to 0, right? I'm just checking it, okay? What is a times 0? 0 equal to 0. This is also true, right? And now if both equal to 0, so if I plug in a equal to 0 and b equal to 0, you see that 0 times 0 is 0. This is also true. See that? So this is called zero factor property. if you have a product of two numbers equal to 0, right, at least one of them must be equal to 0. That makes sense? Okay. So now we can use this zero factor property to solve the given quadratic equation. So let me solve this one. Okay. So look here. So I want to solve 6x squared plus 7x equal to 3. So you see, this is not in a standard form. The standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, right? So this is not in a standard form. So first, let me write down that in a standard form, okay? So so the standard form is going to be, so you have a 6x squared plus 7x equal to 3. If you want to write in a standard form, you subtract 3 from both sides. You subtract 3. Why I did that? Because I want to write this, I want to rewrite this in a standard form. You know the standard form is, what is the standard form? Ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. Right? Did you guys see that? Yes? Good. So now it will be 6x squared plus 7x minus 3 equal to 0, right? Because this 3 and negative 3, you can cross them out, right? And then what you need to do is, so if you want to use zero factor property, right? So you have to multiply coefficient of x squared with negative 3. Okay? So what is 6 times negative? This is coefficient of x squared. This is constant term. You have to multiply them. Okay? What is 6 times negative 3? Negative 18. So now you need to find the factors of negative 18. Okay? You find factors of negative 18 such that the sum is positive 7. Okay? Such that the sum is 7. See that? Right? So now, well, negative 18, okay? So what are the factors of negative 18 such that the sum is 7?
9 and 2. 9 and
Yes. You are right. So you see, you know the 2 times 9 is 18, but you have a negative 18 and you need positive 7, right? So you see negative 2 times 9 is negative 18, is that right? And if you add them up, you see what I'm talking, right? If you multiply negative 2 times 9, so that will be negative 18. If you add them up, negative 2 plus 9, which is same as 9 minus 2, right? Which is what? 7.
So you're taking the 2 that got factored together and then getting the sum of that?
Yes. Okay? You multiply coefficient of x squared. First, you need to rewrite, if the equation is not in a standard form, you have to rewrite the given equation in a standard form. And then you have to multiply coefficient of x squared with the constant term. So this is the coefficient of x squared, which is 6, right? And what is the constant term? Negative 3. You multiply them. You got negative 18, right? And then you need to find the factors of negative 18 such that the sum will be the coefficient of x, which is 7. That makes sense? Okay. So now, you see, I can rewrite this So it will be 6x squared. The 7x is same as 9x minus 2x, right? You see that? This 9x minus 2x, this is 7x. They are equivalent, right? Minus 3 equal to 0. Is that good? And now by suitable grouping, we group the first two terms, this, and the last two terms, this. So now can you tell me what can we factor out from the first two terms?
Why did we get 9x?
I'm splitting this 7x.
Yeah.
I just sum up 9x minus 2x. I just sum up 9x and negative 2x, you know. So 9x plus negative 2. You see what I'm talking about? 9x minus 2x is what? 7x.
Yes.
So these two are equivalent. They are same. Right?
Yes.
So now, then I have to group. Like you see, I grouped first two terms, this, and the last two terms. So now from the first two terms, what can you factor out? What's that? X. And is there anything you can factor out other than x? 3. Yeah. So you can factor out 3x. Make sense? So if you factor out 3x, then what will be inside the parenthesis? What will be left over? You just divide 6x squared by 3x. What will be that? 2x. You divide 9x by 3x. Three? Are you guys with me? You see what I'm doing here, right? Look here, I have a 6x squared plus 9x. I want to factor out common from here. The 6 is 2 times 3 times x times x. 2 times 3 is 6. X times x is x squared. Is that right? And then this plus 9x is 3 times x. Agree? Right? And then what do you have common? You can factor out the common, right? What is the common? 3. 3. So you factor out 3. And you see x. You factor out x. So what is left over? If you factor out 3x, you have a 2x. And you already factor out 3x, so you have a plus 3. So that's what I wrote down here. That makes sense? Yes? Okay. So now from the last two terms, what can you factor out? Negative 1. Is that right? So what will be inside the parenthesis, guys? 2x. What will be the sign here? Plus or minus? Plus. Now you see, this must be equal to this. You know what I mean? Like, look here. Check. 3x times 2x, 6x is squared, good. 3x times 3x, 9x, good. Negative 1 times 2x, negative 2x. Negative 1 times positive 3, negative 3. They are equal, right? We can do that, right? Equal to 0. And now, hey, look here. What can you factor out here? This 2x plus 3, 2x plus 3. Common. So you factor out 2x plus 3. So what will be inside the parenthesis? 3x minus 1, right? This is leftover, right? Right? You common, factor out 3x minus 1 equal to 0. Now, remember the zero factor property? If a times b equal to 0, then what? A equal to 0 or b equal to 0 or both equal to 0. Is that right? So now this is in this form, a times b equal to 0. If you consider this as a and this as b, is that right? You see that? So you have a times b equal to 0. Make sense? So now, if this is the case, by zero factor property, okay? You use zero factor property, what will be here? A equal to 0 means in place of a, what do you have? 2x plus 3, this 2x plus 3 equal to 0, or, right? Right? Or 3x minus 1 equal to 0. Make sense? And now, if 2x plus 3 equal to 0, you subtract, we are trying to find the value of x, right? You subtract 3 from both sides, you cancel them, right? So 2x equal to negative 3. So that will give you x equal to negative 3 over 2, right? And now for here, you have a 3x minus 1 equal to 0. You add 1 on both sides. You cross them out, right? So what do you have here? 3x equal to 0 plus 1 is 1. Make sense? Now how do you find the value of x? You divide both sides by 3. So you divide both sides by 3. So now you divide this both sides by 3. This cancel. So what is the value of x? Now x equal to 1 over 3. Did you see that? Here and here. So the solution to this quadratic equation is negative 3 half comma 1 over 3. Right? Did you get it? So the solutions is the solution is negative 3 half comma 1 over 3. So this is the final answer. Okay, guys? Huh? Does that make sense? Good. Okay, so now let's go to the next problem, okay? You got it, right? So negative 3 half and 1 comma 3. Now this is the square root property. So if you have a quadratic equation of the form x squared equal to k, right? Let me write down here. Do you guys know the difference of a square if you have a square minus b square? So do you know the factors of a square minus b square? Do you know that? What is that? A plus b times a minus b. Right? So let's use the FOIL, okay? So if you use the FOIL, like you have a plus b times a minus b. Let's use the FOIL, okay? What is a times a? What is a times a? A square. What is a times negative b? Negative ab. What is, are you guys with me? What is b times positive a? Positive ab, is that right? What is b times negative b? Negative b square. So now, what did you observe here? What is negative ab plus ab? What can we do here? Cancel out. And then, you see, you have a square minus b square. And that's what I wrote down here, right? A square minus b square equal to a plus b times a minus b. Okay? So, if that is the case, hey, let me solve x square equal to k. Okay? So if you want to solve x square equal to k, look here, guys. Hey, how do you solve it? Any idea? Let's move k to the left side, okay? So that means you subtract k from both sides. Good? And this k cancel, so what do you have? X square minus k equal to 0. Is that right? Good? So now, hey, look here, guys. You have x square minus k equal to 0, right? So can I do this? X square minus this. Let's see, if you have a, can you let me know, what is this? If you have a radical x square, what would be that? Do you know that? Radical x, you square that. What will you get? Is that x? Right? Yes? So now this k is same as if you have a radical k square, this is what? K. So now you see this k is a radical k square. So I can replace this k by radical k square because radical k square is what? K. Is that right? This equal to 0. Now this is in the form of a square minus b square. Is that right? This is in the form of a square minus b square. And you know a square minus b square is a plus b times a minus b. Right? So now, what is this? What will be this? If you apply this formula for this, what will you get here? What will be here, guys? Huh? Look here, guys. Look here. I told you if you have a square minus b square, this is a plus b times a minus b. I just proved it. Is that right? Right here. You see that? Now what I have there is I have x square minus radical k square. So in place of a, I do have x. In place of a, I do have x. Is that right? In place of b, what do I have? Radical k. Right? So now this is going to be, you see in place of a I have x, so this is x plus, in place of b I do have a radical k, right? So this is radical k times, in place of a I do have x minus, in place of b I do have a radical k. So this is x square minus radical k square is x plus radical k times x minus radical k. Agree? Okay. So now, what I can write here is, so it would be x plus radical k times x minus radical k equal to 0. Make sense? Now, you see, you use the zero factor property because the product of these two equal to 0, right? Either x plus radical k equal to 0, x plus radical k equal to 0, or this is my radical k, okay guys? Or this is x minus radical k equal to 0 by using zero factor property. Remember, if a b equal to 0, a equal to 0, or b equal to 0, or both equal to 0. Is that right? So now, so if x plus radical k equal to 0, what is the value of x? If x plus radical k equal to 0, so you have x plus radical k equal to 0. So now how do you find the value of x, guys? You subtract. You need to find the value of x. Exactly, subtract radical k from both sides, you cross them out, so x equal to what? Negative radical k. Is that right? Right? So now, the next one is you have x minus radical k equal to 0. X minus radical k equal to 0. So how do you find the value of x? Exactly. Good job. Add radical k on both sides. So you cancel them, right? So that will give you x equal to what? Radical k. Because 0 plus radical k is k. Now, you see we got two values of x. One is negative radical k, another one is what? Positive radical k. right? If you combine them, we can write like this, plus or minus, because one is positive, another one is negative, right? So now x is plus or minus what? Radical k. So let me write down that this is called square root property, okay? So now, hey, what you need to know is if x square equal to k, then x equal to plus or minus this. So this is called square root property, okay? Square root property. Did you get it? Yes? And now you see we can use, hey, if I have x squared equal to 64, right? How do you solve this? What are the values of x? X equal to what? Plus or minus? What will be here? Plus or minus? If x squared equal to k, then x equal to plus or minus radical k. Is that right? If x squared equal to 64, x equal to what? Plus or minus? Radical 64. That makes sense? And that will give you x equal to plus or minus. You know the radical 64? Radical 64 is plus or minus 8. Make sense? Did you get it? Okay, good. So this is the solution. Okay. So this is if x squared equal to k, then x equal to radical k or x equal to negative radical k. If x squared equal to 4, x equal to what? Radical 4 or x equal to negative radical 4, right? Radical 4 is 2, right? So x equal to 2 or negative 2. Make sense? Okay, good. Now, so what are the values of x? So if you have x squared equal to 17, right? X squared equal to 17, you just use the square root property. You have x squared equal to 17. So then what will be the value of x? Plus or minus? Exactly. Radical 17. Right? Good. So now, let me. So if you have x squared equal to negative 25, so how do you find that? If you have x squared equals to negative 25, what are the values of x? X equal to plus or minus radical, what do you have here? 25. Negative 25, okay. So that would be x equal to plus or minus. What is radical negative 25? Now you remember we did that last time. This is I radical a. Remember that? Radical of negative a is I radical a. Is that right? So now you have a radical of negative 25. So what will be this? I radical 25. So now that will be x equal to plus or minus I. So what is radical 25? 5. So now you see it would be x equal to plus or minus 5i. Did you get it? Okay, so now let me, excuse me. So how did you solve this? If you have a x minus 4 square equal to 12, right? So how do you find the values of x? So we have x minus 4 square equal to 12, and we have to solve this equation, okay? Okay? So now, how do you do this? Come on, guys. How do you do this? I mean, like, if you subtract 12, that's the one way. But the easiest way is you apply this, square root property. What do you know here? If x squared equal to k, then x equal to plus or minus radical k. Is that right? Now here, x minus 4 squared equal to 12, right? So what will be x minus 4? So now look here, guys. So this is, you just compare this. You have, if you have this, so this is x equal to plus or minus radical k. You do have this, right? You know this, right? Right? Now what do you have here? You have x minus 4 squared equal to 12. So what would be this? You just compare in place of x, what do you have? In place of x, what do you have? Plus or minus radical 12, yeah. In place of x, you have x minus 4. In place of k, you have 12, right? So now you simply write here x minus 4 equal to plus or minus radical. In place of k, what do you have? 12, right? Plus or minus 12. Did you get that? Right? So now, this is x minus 4 equal to, hey, plus or minus. Hey, can you simplify radical 12, please? How do you simplify radical 12? Can you write 12 as a product of a square number and a non-square number? So what are the factors of 12, guys? Say again?
2 and 6.
So what is the least prime number that divides 12? 2 times 6, is that right? Right? And what is the least prime number that divides 6?
2 and 3.
2 and 3. So 2 times 2 times 3, is that right? What is 2 times 2? 4. Is 4 a square number? Yeah, so now you can write down this as 4 times 3. You got it? Yes? And then, now this is x minus 4 equal to plus or minus. Hey, if a and b both positive, remember last time I told you if a and b are both positive, radical ab equals to radical a times radical b. Is that right? Right? Yes? So now if that is the case, what will be here? We apply that. So what will be radical 4 times 3?
Radical 4 times radical 3.
Exactly. Radical 4 times radical 3. Okay, so now this is x minus 4 equal to plus or minus. Hey, what is radical 4? 2. 2 radical 3. Right? So how do you find the value of x? From here. Exactly. Add 4 because you need to isolate x, right? So add 4 on both sides. And then you cancel them. So now you see x equal to 4 plus or minus. This 4, are you guys with me? 4 plus or minus 2 radical 3. right? Right? That's it. Good job, guys. Okay, now we will solve a quadratic equation by using the method of completing square, completing the square, okay? So there are so many steps and we will follow these steps, right, to solve a quadratic equation by completing the square method, okay? Sometimes we cannot factor, we cannot solve the quadratic equation by factor method, okay? So that means at that time we have to use completing the square method. So let me show you one example. Now here, look here, guys. So I want to solve this quadratic equation, okay? Okay, so let me copy that, okay? So solve x square minus 4x minus 14 equal to 0. X square minus 4x minus 14 equal to 0. So now look here. So if I want to use the factor method, suppose I want to use factor method. So that means I want to factor x square minus 4x minus 14, okay? So what I'm supposed to do, I have to multiply coefficient of x square. What is the coefficient of x square? 1, is that right? With the constant term, right? What is 1 times negative 14? Negative 14. Hey, can you come up with the factors of negative 14 such that the sum is negative 4? Can you find factors of negative 14 such that the sum is negative 4? Can you do that? So let's say, hey, what is the least prime number that divides 14? 2 times 7, is that right? So you can do negative 2, 2 minus 7, but if you add them up, what is 2 plus negative 7? What is this? Negative 5. So this is not negative 5, right? This is negative 4, right? It does not work. And what else can you do? Like you have a negative 14. Hey, can I do negative 14 times 1? But if you add them up, if you multiply them, that will give you negative 14, right? But if you add them up, what is negative 14 plus 1? Negative 13, but we need what? Negative 4. So you cannot find factors of negative 14 such that the sum is what? Negative 4. Okay? So in that case, we have to use completing the square method. If you want to solve this quadratic equation, what we are going to use? Completing the square. Completing the square method. Okay, guys? So now the first step is you have to make coefficient of x square 1, right? If the coefficient of x square is other than 1, you have to make the coefficient of x square 1. But in this case, what is the coefficient of x square? 1. So we already have coefficient of x square 1, right? So we don't have to make it 1. Are you guys with me? If it is not 1, if the coefficient of x square is not 1, then you have to make it 1. Is it clear? But in this example, we have coefficient of x squared 1, right? So we don't have to make it 1 because it is already 1. Okay? So now this is the first step, okay? So step 1 is passed, right? Step 1 is good, right? So in step 2, what you do is, hey, figure out the coefficient of x. So what is the coefficient of x here? What is the coefficient of x? What is the number which multiply x here? -4, right? So you figure out coefficient of x, which is -4. Is that right? And then in step 3, find out half of the coefficient of x. So what is half of -4? So what is, are you guys with me? What is the coefficient of x? -4. What is half of the coefficient of x? So that means half of 4. Is that right? Half of -4, sorry. Half of -4, right? So what is -2? You know that, right? Half times -4 is, half times -4 is -2. Right? Did that make sense? And then in step 4, you add a square of half of the coefficient of x on both sides. That's it. But I missed here something, guys. Let me say, if step 1 is this, I think in step 2, if you have a constant term on the left side, you have to move constant term to the right side, okay? So this -14 is the constant term, so you have to move that to the right side. So in step 2, you move the constant term to the right side. To the right side. Make sense? So let me look here. So we have x square minus -4x minus 14 equal to 0. And step 1, make the coefficient of x square 1 if it is not 1, right? But we already have coefficient of x square 1. The step 1 is good, right? Nothing to do for step 1, right? For step 2, move the constant term to the right side. What is the constant term? What is the constant term? -14. You move that to the right side. How do you do that? Exactly. Add 14 on both sides. You cross them out. So that would be x square minus 4x equals to 14. Make sense? Good. What is step 3? Figure out the coefficient of x. What is the coefficient of x? -4. Is that right? And in step 4, excuse me, find the half of the coefficient of x. What is half of -4? Half times -4 is -2. Is that right? Step 5, add a square of half of the coefficient of x. So that means add what? square of half of the coefficient of x. So what is half of coefficient of x? Negative 2. So what is square of negative 2? What is the square of negative 2? 4. So add 4 on both sides. Are you guys with me? Right? So now if you add 4 on both sides, it will be, what will be this? Now here, add 4 on both sides. So you have x squared minus 4x plus 4 equal to what? 14. Plus 4. You see that? I added 4 on both sides. I added 4 here and 4 here. Did you see that? Yes. So now, hey, can you factor this x squared minus 4x plus 4? What are the factors of x squared minus 4x plus 4? So you see what is the coefficient of x squared? 1. What is 1 times 4? 4. What are the factors of 4 so that the sum is 4? Exactly, 2 and 2. Is that right? So now, if the coefficient of x squared is 1, you can simply write, look at the sign here, this is negative, so you can simply write, oh, this is, by the way, this is, you need negative 4, right? So this is negative 2, negative 2. Is that right? Because when you multiply, it's going to be 4, right? When you add them up, it will give you negative 4. Negative 2 times negative 2, positive 4. Right? Negative 2 plus negative 2, that will be what? Negative 4. Right? So now you can simply write x minus 2 times x minus 2 equal to, what is 14 plus 4? 18. Did you see that? And you can do this if the coefficient of x squared is 1. You know what I mean? If you have a coefficient of x squared other than 1, you cannot do this. Keep in mind. Okay? Hey, what is x minus 2 times x minus 2? Hey, what is x times x? X is square. So what is x minus 2 times x minus 2? Pretty close. X minus 2 is square, right? If x times x is square, if a times a is square. Y times y is square. So what is x minus 2 times x minus 2? X minus 2 is square. Parenthesis, x minus 2, parenthesis close, is square. Okay? So this is, so this would be x minus 2 square equal to what? 18. Are you guys with me? X minus 2 times x minus 2, yes? X minus 2 square equal to 18. Now, hey, I want to remind you, I like to remind you square root property. Remember, we did that just like a 15 minutes ago. We wrote down if, right, x square equal to k, right? If x square equal to k, then x equal to plus or minus radical k. We did that, right? Remember that? Is that right? Now what do we have here? We have x minus 2 square equal to k. Then what will be the, now can you apply this? What will be here? Can you tell me? You apply this, okay? In place of x, what do you have? In place of x, what you have here, guys? X minus 2. And in place of k, I'm sorry, this is 18, is that right? In place of x minus 2 square equal to 18. So this is 18 here, is that right? So now, hey, x minus 2 equal to plus or minus radical. What will be here under the radical sign? 18. So now, how do you solve this? You add 2 on both sides, right? So you add 2 on both sides, you cross them out. So x equal to 2 plus or minus radical 18. Agree? Make sense? That makes sense? Look here, you see the x minus 2 equal to plus or minus radical 18. You got it, right? So you need to find the value of x. So that means you need to isolate x. Is that right? So you add 2 on both sides. Is that right? So that is, if you do this is plus or minus radical 18 plus 2. Agree? But this is same as what? 2 plus or minus what? Radical 18. Now it makes sense, right? Okay. Hey, can you simplify radical 18, please? Do you know how to simplify radical 18? Can you rewrite 18 as the product of a square number and other number? What is that? So let me ask you one question. So you have 18, right? So what is the least prime number that divides 18? 2. So this is 2 times 9, right? Hey, what is 9? Is it? Yeah, it's a square number, right? So you simply write down this as 9 times 2. Good. So now that would be x equal to 2 plus or minus. Hey, this radical 9 times 2 is same as radical 9 times radical 2. This is good because both 9 and 2 are positive. Okay? So now this will be x equal to 2 plus or minus. What is radical 9? What is radical 9? 3. 3 radical 2. You got it? Did you get it? Yeah. This is the. And then you see the quadratic equation. If they have this quadratic equation has 2 solutions. One is when you take positive sign, you will get x equal to 2 plus 3 radical 2. Is that right? Right? If you take positive sign, you have this. If you take negative sign, if you take minus sign, now it's x equal to 2 minus 3 radical 2. Make sense? Right? Good? Yeah. Okay, so now we solve it, guys. Yep. Did you get it? Good guys, good guys. Now in this case, if you want to use completing the square method, now what is the coefficient of x square here? 9, right? You see that? Coefficient of x square is 9. So let me. So you have 9x square minus 12x plus 9 equal to 0. Guys, keep in mind, the first step is you make the coefficient of x square 1 if it is not 1. So what is the coefficient of x square here? 9. So you need to make it 1. How can you make it 1? You divide both sides by what? Divide both sides by 9. That makes sense? You get it? So now, so it's going to be this 9 cancel, so you have x square minus. What is the lowest term? What is the lowest term of 12 over 9? What is the lowest term of 12 over 9? You know the lowest term, right? Or the simplest form, whatever. Hey, what are the prime factorization of 12? What is the least prime number that divides 12? 2. 2 times 6. What is the least prime number that divides 6? 2. Yes, 2 and 3. Now you stop because both are prime number, right? So the 12 is 2 times 2 times 3. Agree? So it's going to be 2 times 2 times 3. So now for 9, hey, what is the least prime number that divides 9? 3, right? 3 times 3, right? 3 times 3. So right here 3 times 3, this 3 on the top and this 3 on the bottom. Can I cancel them? Right? So what is 2 times 2? 4 over 3. So the lowest term is 4 over 3x plus 1. 9 over 9 is 1, right? Equal to 0. Make sense? Right? So now you follow the similar steps we did for this problem, right? So then you can do that. Right? You find the coefficient of x. You find first you move this to the right side. Move constant terms to the right side. You find the coefficient of x. Find half of that. Square half of the coefficient of x. Add on both sides, right? And you'll get it, okay? So let me go to the next. Okay, you guys know the quadratic formula? If so you can also use the formula to find the solution to the quadratic equation, okay? So if you want to find the solution to the quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, where a is not equal to 0, right? By using the formula. So are you guys familiar? Are you guys familiar with that formula? Yes? X equal to negative b plus or minus radical b square minus 4ac over 2a. So b, what is b here? What does b represent here? B is the coefficient of x, right? What does a represent here? What is a? Coefficient of x squared, is that right? Right? What does c represent? C is the what does c represent in the equation? Constant term. A is the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, and c is the constant term. Okay, guys? So now, look here. So if you want to use formula to solve this quadratic equation, okay, you have to solve x squared minus 4x equal to negative 2. Now, if you want to use formula method, if you want to use formula to solve a quadratic equation, you have to write the given equation in a standard form. You know the standard form is this. Ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. You need to have a 0 on the right side. But what do you have here? Negative 2. So how do you make 0? How do you rewrite this into this form? You add 2. So now if we add 2 here, so you cross them out, so that would be x squared minus 4x plus 2 equal to 0. Make sense? And you see one thing, you cannot use factor method. You cannot factor this. Because coefficient of x squared is 1, right? 1 times 2 is 2. You cannot find the factors of 2 such that the sum is negative 4. Impossible. So you have to use formula method, either the formula method or completing the square method. But now here, I am going to use formula. Okay? Okay. So what is the value of a? What is a here? What is a? What does a represent? Coefficient of x squared, right? What is the coefficient of x squared here? 1. What is the value of b? Negative 4. What is the value of c? 2. and you just plug in, okay, those values in the formula, okay? So now,
Was that the answer to that question I just raised?
for the previous one?
Yeah.
No, I just like gave you the idea. I did not complete this problem. Okay, so this is what I told you. This is 9x squared minus 12x plus 9 equal to 0. You are going to use completing the square method. Is that right? Completing the square method. What did I tell you is, hey, to use the completing the square method, you have to move this to the right side. So constant term to the right side. So you subtract 9 on both sides. So this is 9x squared minus, I miss x here, okay? This is 12x. 12x, okay? And then 9x squared minus 12x equal to negative 9. Then I have to make the coefficient of x squared 1. Is that right? So you divide both sides by 9. So this 9 over 9. Is that right? And then you have x squared minus this 12 over 9. The lowest term for that one is 4 over 3. Is that right? Right? We did that. Equal to negative 1. And then, you see, we talked about the steps, right? 5 or 6 steps, right? So what is the coefficient of x? Negative 4 over 3, right? You need to find out half of that, right? And then you have to square that and add on both sides, and you follow these steps, then you will find the solution. I did not complete this problem, you know what I mean?
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
Okay. So this problem, there are so many blanks you have to fill that, okay? Okay, it's up to you, okay? So this is for you guys, okay? So now for this one, you see the formula is x equal to negative b plus or minus radical b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So that will be x equal to negative. What is the value of b? You plug in the value of b. What is the value of b? Negative 4 plus or minus, this is from the formula, this radical sign from the formula. B square, what is the value of b? Negative 4, right? So b square, hey guys, look here, the negative 4, you have to put the parenthesis, okay? So that is b square, right? Minus 4 times, what is the value of a? 1, 4 times 1 times, what is the value of c? 2. This whole over 2 times, what is the value of a? 1. That makes sense? Yes? And now, let's simplify this. X equal to, this is what is negative times negative? This is positive 4, right? Negative times negative 4 is positive 4, plus or minus, what is this? Parenthesis, negative 4 square. What is this? 16, right? This is negative 4 times negative 4, right? 16 minus, what is 4 times 2? 8 over 2. So far so good? Okay, so now that would be x equal to 4 plus or minus, what is radical 16 minus 8? 8 over 2. So this is x equal to 4 plus or minus. Hey, how do you find the value of radical? Can you simplify radical 8? Can you write 8 algebra? Just think like this. So you have 8, okay? So what is the least prime number that divide 8? 2 and 4. And what is 4? Is 4 a square number? Yeah, so you just do 4 times 2 over 2, right? And then x equal to 4 plus or minus. So hey, what is this? This is same as radical 4 times radical 2, right? Right? So this is radical 4 times radical 2 over 2. So now that would be x equal to 4 plus or minus. What is radical 4? What is the square root of 4? 2. 2 radical 2 over 2. So let me copy this here, okay. Are you guys with me so far? Huh? Okay. So now let me copy this here, okay. So I have x equal to 4 plus or minus 2 radical 2 over 2. And this 2 is the common denominator, right? This 2 is the common denominator. So that will be x equal to 4 over 2 plus or minus 2 radical 2 over 2. Make sense? And now x equal to, what is 4 over 2? 2 plus or minus, this 2 and 2 cancel, this is radical 2. Is that right? So the solution is 2 plus or minus radical 2. So this is the final answer. This is the final answer. Did you get it? Good. See that? Yes? Okay. Now similarly you can do that one. So I want to take you to the discriminant. You guys know that? So in the formula x equal to negative b plus or minus b square minus radical b square minus 4ac over 2a, in this formula, this b square minus 4ac is called the discriminant. It's called the discriminant, okay? Discriminant. So, okay, so the b square minus 4ac is called the discriminant. So now this discriminant, you see, by looking at the value of the discriminant, you can figure out the nature of the roots. So if the value of discriminant is 0, what will happen? You'll have the quadratic equation will have what? Only one solution. Okay? You see what I'm talking, right? So what I'm saying is, if the value of discriminant is 0, then we'll have only one solution, and the type of solution is the rational. Okay? So if you have this discriminant 0, okay? So if b square minus 4ac is 0, discriminant is 0, that means b square minus 4ac is 0, then you'll have x equal to negative b plus or minus radical 0, because this discriminant is 0, okay? And this over 2a, so that is negative b plus or minus, what is radical 0? 0, right? Over 2a. So that will give you x equal to what? Negative b over 2a. So you see, you have only one solution. So what I'm trying to say is, if the discriminant is 0, then the quadratic equation will have only one solution. And that solution is rational. Okay? Or I can say, like, if you have a, hey, let me give you one example, okay? Real quick. So if you have x square minus, let's say, 10x plus 25, you want to solve it. So how do you solve it? Let's do the factor method, okay? So what is 1 times 25? 25. What are the factors of 25 such that the sum is negative 10? You have a 25, is that right? What are the factors of 25 such that the sum is negative 10? Exactly, negative 5 and negative 5, right? Right? Negative 5, right? So now you can write here x minus 5 times x minus 5 equal to what? Equal to 0. Are you guys with me? Does that make sense? What do you do? What are the factors of 25 such that the sum is negative 10? Negative 5, is that right? If you multiply, that will give you 25, right? If you add, that will give you what? Negative 10, is that right? So now you can write this. This will give you x minus 5 equal to 0 or x minus 5 equal to 0. Is that right? Now, what did you get from here? X equal to 5, x equal to 5. Is that right? So you got only one solution, 5. That is a double solution, right? Right? And this is rational. So now look here. If you have the discriminant is b square minus 4ac. What is the value of b? What is the value of b? You compare with ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. Ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. What is the value of b? Negative 10. So this is negative 10 square. Are you guys with me? So this is negative 10 square. B square means parenthesis negative 10 square minus 4 times. What is the value of a? 1. Times. What is the value of c? 25. So now you simplify. What is parenthesis negative 10 square? What is negative 10 times negative 10? 100. So this is 100 minus, what is 4 times 25? 100. So now you see, what is 100 minus 100? 0. You see that? If the discriminant is 0, the quadratic equation will have only one solution. Make sense? Okay. Now, if the discriminant is a perfect square, then the number of solutions, there will be 2 solutions to a quadratic equation. Okay? Okay? So now, if the discriminant is a perfect square, you will have a what? 2 solutions. Like, let's say 5x square plus 2x minus 4. So you have a 5x square plus 2x minus 4 equal to 0. Let's find the discriminant. What is the value of A? 5. What is the value of B? 2. Right? What is the value of C? Negative 4. Now, you find the discriminant, okay? B square minus 4ac, okay? So now, B square is 2 square minus 4 times. What is your A? 5. What is your C? Negative 4. Is that right? Right? Now, what did you get here? What is this? 4. And this is negative times negative positive, 4 times 5, 20 times 4, 80. So this is 84, right? 84, right? This 84 is not a perfect square. Is that right? 84 is not a perfect square. Are you guys with me? So now, if the discriminant is positive, but this is positive, right? 84 is positive. This is positive. If the discriminant is positive and not a perfect square, that's not a perfect square, at that time, we'll also have what? 2 solutions. Okay? And the nature of the solution will be what? Rational. If the discriminant is negative, okay? If the discriminant is negative, at that time, we'll also have 2 solutions, okay? But the solution is non-real complex. Okay, I want to stop here, okay? I will see you next time. Bye.